Exclamation, everybody, and welcome back to Sorcery, and we're going to travel ourselves into, we're going to move inside this abandoned house that we gained entry to last time, and see what awaits us. You step inside the great stone house. A cold silence descends, quite different from the dusty heat outside. This place feels like it had not been lived in for decades, although judging by the lack of dust, it may not have been quite so long. Floorboards creak underfoot. At the end of the hallway is a sealed door. Is that a chink of light just visible beneath the frame? Creep forwards. You make your way along the corridor. The walls on either side are lined with large portraits of dusty-looking men and sour-faced women who sneer at you as you pass. Look at the paintings. The figures in the paintings are all finely dressed, but they also have knife scars on their faces and nicks in their ears. There must be the thief kings of Carré's murky past. These must be. You pass a large metal coal scuttle sitting against the left-hand wall. You stop to look inside the scuttle, but the inside is blackened, and in the darkness it seems as though an infinitely deep pit was contained inside. Put my hand inside or leave it. Leave it. Yeah, I can't imagine reaching into something, not knowing what is in there. You reach the far end of the hall. It is only a short way from the entrance, but all is now in shadow. The only light comes from the gap around the frame of the door in front of you. More darkness wells up to the right. You can just make out the first few steps of a flight of stairs, leading away upwards to the second level of the house. Alright, let's enter the study first. You push open the door and enter a wide, paneled room with a thick carpet. It is a study of some kind. The source of the light under the doorframe becomes quickly apparent. A roaring fire burns in an enormous grate on one side of the room. Look around. You search around the room. The furniture is grand, carved and stained and inlaid with patterns of goblin bone. But there are no possessions to be seen. No ornaments, no jewels, no treasure, and no sign of the owner. It is as if whoever lived here had moved out, or, more likely, as though the place had been thoroughly robbed. With the door shut, you would expect this room to be swelteringly hot, but like the rest of the house, it is icy cold. An icy cold flame, huh? Go over to the fire. You go over to the fire to warm your hands, only to find it emits no heat at all. It burns no fuel either. The enormous grate, large enough to roast a whole boar, is entirely empty of wood, ash, or coal. But the flames are nonetheless brilliant, and as high as a man. Look into the flames, reach into the... Look into the flames. Peering deeper at the base of the fire, you see there's definitely nothing burning there. The flames spring into life a finger's width above the grate. They are so bright you can make out nothing beyond, but it seems that the hearth goes back some distance. We step into the hearth of magical flames? Sure, why not? Seeing as though I didn't reach my hand into the bottomless pit of nothingness. Stealing your courage, you duck your head and step into the grate. The flames surround you, their crackles whispering in your ears as though you stood in a pit of snakes. But you feel no heat. Your skin does not blister, and your clothing does not ignite. You stand in the middle of the fire like some kind of demon, and feel no ill effects at all. From here you can see that the hearth extends backwards much further than you might expect. Is it a tunnel? Or do you stand inside a trap, its jaws about to spring shut? Well, there's only one way to find out. You creep forward across the grate, through the flames and beyond, into a low stone alcove hidden by the fire. The walls are made of solid slabs of stone, and there is nothing here. No treasure, no secret doors. On the far wall are a strange set of markings, a series of long grooves, like scratches, radiating outwards from a small hole. Feel the grooves? You run your fingers through the grooves in the stone wall. They have been carved lightly and roughly, with a dagger point rather than a chisel. Perhaps, but the small hole at their center is much more cleanly formed. Examine. You put one finger into the small hole. You cannot find the bottom of it, and it seems polished and smooth. It looks like the bolt hole you might find in a stonework of a fortress doorway, except for its position in the middle of a blank wall. You look through your pack for something to use as a key, but you find nothing because I broke all my keys. Darn. Go back to the study. I mean, I couldn't... I guess I could have tried to cast that spell again, maybe? You know what? Let's rewind for a second. And let's see if I can cast a spell here. Perhaps. I doubt it. I doubt it because I think it really wants a key. But let's try it. So we'll do D, O, and P. Try that. You cast the spell across the grooved wall in front of you, but nothing happens. Perhaps it's not a door after all. Or perhaps it is locked with a fearsome magic your own spell cannot overcome. It is impossible to be sure. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. But I wanted to try it anyway, to make sure. So yeah, having lost that key was not a very good thing. Alright, so let's leave the room. A chill breeze drifts from the stairwell. Okay. Let's climb the stairs. You place your foot on the first step of the stairwell, and suddenly it begins to move. Is it alive? Some kind of thin, flat beast? Or is it a trap? Grab the handrail. You grab the handrail to steady yourself, only to find it is moving as well. An escalator? An old-timey escalator? Hold on. You cling onto the rail to keep yourself upright. It seems the rail is moving at the same speed as the step underneath you. You rise to the top of the stairwell in a smooth motion and jump off in perfect safety. Apparently this house has an escalator. That's quite amazing, actually. You look around. You're on an upstairs landing with doors on either side. Alright, bedroom or library. Let's go to the library first, because if there's going to be a key in here, you would think it'd be in the library. This is a library in darkness. At the far end, a pair of eyes stare back at you. Okay, who's there? Who's there, you call out. The creature at the other side of the room makes no reply. In fact, it makes no sound at all. The distant eyes have not yet blinked. I suspect it's probably something on the wall, huh? You step forward boldly, your own eyes fixed on those across the room from you. They do not blink. They do not even move as you approach. Stare it out. Show it you mean no harm. You raise your hands to indicate you mean no harm. The eyes do not react. Then you see why. They are the eyes of a large portrait that hangs over the far wall, in shadow, but for a dim sunbeam falling through a gap in the roof above. Yeah, I kind of figured that would be the case. Let's look at the painting. The painting is of a proud and stern-looking man, dressed in loose leather armor with a serpent emblem stitched across the length of one arm. The painting fills the entire wall of the room and must be twice the height of a man who posed for the likeness. Look at the man. You step back a little to regard the man in the picture. The most striking thing about him are his eyes, cold and cruel. They seem to gleam with cunning and the will to survive. They are the eyes of a man who would harm you if it suited him, knowing full well what it was he did. Otherwise, he stands tall and proud, with one hand on the hilt of a sword and the other wielding a tiny dagger. Everything about him reeks of power and of threat. The picture must be of the man that lived in this house. For anyone else, it would surely cast too long a shadow to live beneath. The eyes of the painting seem to follow you as you move. Look behind the painting. You raise one corner of the frame from the wall and peer up behind it, but it is too dark to see if there's anything hidden there. You grab the base of the painting between outstretched hands, then heft the frame up and off the hook that holds it to the wall. There is a moment when you think you have it under control, but then you are holding the true weight of the picture and begin to stagger backwards. Try to balance it. You backpedal across the room, trying to keep your balance. The painting threatens to topple at any moment. If you can just get it turned around, you'll be able to lean the painting against the wall. Step backwards and to the left. Wow. Somehow I pulled that one off. You step backwards and to the left, then bring the painting down to the floor to rest safely against the opposite wall. You rub your arms with relief. Look at the end wall. You look over the wall where the painting had hung, but there is nothing else of interest, just its dark outline. Look at the back of the canvas. With the painting tilted against the side wall, you're able to slip around and look at the back of the canvas in the weak light that trickles in through the door. It is unremarkable, with just a single inscription near the middle of the canvas. Theta, 7th Noble of Carré. The painting looks like a noble, all right, or at least it looks like a painting a noble would have had made of themselves. But even if this was once Theta's house, it looks like he has long since left. Perhaps he is dead. You turn your attention from the portrait. There is nothing else in the room. You have found 2 new clues, and another clue has been updated. Okay, well let's see what our clues say here. The Ritual of Korga, right? I've seen that one already. 4 Nobles of Carré, blah blah blah. Lord Long is a scholar. 7th Noble Theta. Alright. Well, so we know who the 7th Noble is now, I guess. Which I suppose will help us at some point in the future. In the meantime, let's return to the escalator. And let's head into the bedroom. You step through a doorway into a simple bedroom. The bed is unmade and looks as though its owner left in a hurry. Personal effects are scattered all over the floor as if the place has been ransacked, which it probably was. A cane leans by the bedside. You see nothing else of interest. Look at the cane. The cane is a simple straight stick with a leather loop at the top to slip around the wearer's wrists. It does not look like any sort of weapon, and it does not appear to be magic. Oh, wait a minute. I wonder if that... I'm going to take it. I wonder if that opens the thing below the fireplace, if I can go back to there. Hopefully. Walk into the bathroom. The further door leads to a bathroom. There is nothing in it, not even a mirror, only a gap where one used to hang. The only fixture is an empty iron bathtub in the middle of the tiled floor. You crouch down and peer under the bath. Something darts at your face and you leap back. Okay. I guess run my sword under the bath. You draw your sword and swipe it in an arc underneath the bath. It comes away clean, no blood and no hidden treasure. You head out of the small room. Yeah, I figured it was probably some rat or something like that. Let's go back in here. And then we shall return to the top of the stairs. And we shall go downstairs again. You return down the stairs, which seem quite normal now, back to the lower hall. There does not seem to be anything more here to be discovered. Oh, but I disagree. I'm going to return to the study room. Right. And back in the hearth. Right. And then in the fireplace. Let's see. A keyhole. Insert the walking cane. You raise the walking cane and slip the tip into the small hole in the back of the fireplace. It fits perfectly. There is a click. For a moment nothing happens, and then very slowly the stones begin to move. A passageway has opened to your left. Sweet. You peer through the secret passage, but can make out nothing but darkness beyond. You'll have to go inside to figure out what you have to find out what you have discovered. Okay. A secret room. Oh, it looks like a burial chamber. Slipping through the narrow opening, you find yourself in a slightly wider space. The walls are cool stone, and there are no windows. But the room is not dark. In one corner, an idol stands on a small shrine, lit by 2 candles which burn with thin, cold flames. This place reeks of death and decay. The shrine is covered in thin, blood-soaked strips of cloth. Look at the cloth. The bandages are each an arm span long and as deep as your thumb. Each is bloodied in 2 places, spaced a few fingers' widths apart. There are 30 or 40 such bandages here, running down from the shrine like streamers. Someone was injured for a long time. Nope. Oh, I don't want to. No, I didn't want to go back. I hit the wrong thing. Can I need to. Let me rewind for a second, because I hit the wrong thing here. Enter the passageway. Blah blah. Really gotta. My fingers are too fat for the UI here. Let's look at the shrine this time. The shrine is poor and cheap, like everything else in the house. Unlike everything else in the house, it seems to have been hastily built out of uneven stones and a plank of wood, and a small statue of a fat god that sits on it has been molded from humble clay. Look at the god. It must be some local deity. At the base of the statue is a name, Kuurga. Above his head is a plaque with a short inscription, and on his face are painted 4 red dots. You glance behind you, suddenly terrified that the secret door might swing shut and leave you trapped in this place. Okay. Read the inscription. The inscription is scrawled as though in the hand of a child. You have to squint to read it. Give me back my eyes. You're starting to get the jitters down here. Look at the dots. The dots on the idol seem to have been daubed with a fingertip. They are perhaps directions on how to worship the god, but there is no indication of what to do or in what order. Only the places, both eyes, the third eye in the forehead, and his mouth. The bandages are each arm span long and as deep as your thumb. Each is bloody. Yeah, okay, I said this already. Search the bandages. You sift through the pile of bloodied cloth strips quickly, stomach churning. Something gleams from within the pile and you uncover a silver badge. It is the badge of a noble of Carré. Take it. The badge is solid silver and probably valuable to its owner, should you encounter them. You place it carefully into your pack. There's nothing more to be seen in this terrible place. You slip back out of the small room, out of the fireplace, and into the hallway. Very good. And my clues have been updated. Excellent. Alright, let's return to the hallway from whence we came. There does not seem to be anything more here to be discovered. Okay. Then we shall leave the house now. I think we got everything that we can get out of that, and I think I'm very happy about that. This house is home now only to ghosts. You hurry back out of the door and into the sunshine of the front garden. Alright, there's nothing more to do here. Look at the fountain. Did I look at the fountain before? I don't think I did. Oh good, I got some stamina back. A fountain by the door is still bubbling. Cupping your hands, you drink a deep mouthful and feel much better. It's time to be moving on. Excellent. I'm glad I looked at the fountain. The main junction here. Alright, you return through the front yard of the ruined house and back out onto the main street. The street is narrow and runs past the grand building towards a cluster of smaller houses further ahead. A fine horse is tied up to a post outside the mansion. The horse? You approach the horse. It snorts nervously, wary of your presence. You might be able to calm it or even talk to it with the correct spell. Of course, if I had looked at my spell book, I would know what spell to cast, but I have not. Let's see. Can I... Oh, here we go. I can do my spell book this way. So is there... Raz... Sus... Okay, well, I've been looking through the spell book here, and I think I found a few spells that might help, but I don't have the requisite stuff to make it happen. So it looks like we're not going to be able to get much out of that horse. So not going to worry about it then. Not going to worry too much about it. So talk to the horse. You try a few words in a common tongue and then a few whispered in the more gentle language of your girlhood in Shalberry Wood. The animal listens with its ears cocked, giving you a strange, distant look. But of course it does. It's a horse. Still, it appears calmer in your presence now. Perhaps you have made a friend. We'll leave it. Alright. Let's follow the main road. You follow the road past the grand house. A side road appears on the left. Looking left, you see an arch, and beyond that, a wide yard. As you watch, a guardsman walks past. Yeah, no thanks. Let's follow the main road. As you press on up the road, you notice the huts on either side are getting smaller. The roadway is now bustling with dwarves and other small fellows. It seems from the contemptuous looks you are receiving that the inhabitants of this sub-hamlet are not kindly disposed towards human-sized outsiders. I could walk on my knees. Let's keep going. You walk on, smiling down at the people you pass. You reach the middle of the dwarf ghetto, a small square with a general store off to one side. Further up the street, you see a small crowd gathered around two scuffling creatures. Go over to the crowd. Maybe. You push your way through the small crowd. In the center, two tiny creatures are grappling fiercely with each other. One is a pixie and the other a sprite. The onlookers are quite fascinated, with some cheering on the pixie and others rooting for the sprites. You appear to have just caught the end of the fight. The sprite looks almost exhausted. Watch the fight. You watch the fight. It doesn't last long. The sprite goes for the pixie with a tiny arm lock. The pixie ducks, spins around with a flying high kick, and knocks the sprite reeling backwards across the dirt. With a hop, skip, and a jump, the pixie is sitting on the fallen sprite's chest with two fingers up its nostrils. "Do you yield?" it squeaks. The other creature makes a yelping noise, presumably a yes. The crowd cheers and the debts are settled up. Eventually, the crowd disperses. I guess I could have made some coin there, but there was no way that I could predict who would win a sprite fairy battle. There's no way for me to have known that. You duck your head to squeeze through the doorway to the dwarf store. The proprietor is a stocky type of advanced years who peers at you through a pair of bottled glass spectacles balanced on a long and gnarly nose. "You are not a dwarf," he observes, cheerfully enough, as you enter. "I want to look around," you say. The dwarf shrugs. "Then look away, if you have got enough room to turn up that big empty head of yours." You browse the shelves of the shop. A potion of mystery. Awesome. You pick a bottle of potion carefully from the shelf. It is a thick, clear-colored liquid, and the label says, "Potion of Mystery," nothing more. "2 gold pieces," says the dwarf. Yeah, why not? Buy it. Save it. The dwarf points at the vial of dust. You should consider buying that, he remarks. No one else has. What is the... Whoops. No, I want to go back. I want to go back to this one. Damn, I hit the wrong thing again. That's enough for me, you say. The dwarf nods. A pleasure doing business with you, he replies. You head back into the sunlight and stretch to your full height. Can I do that again? Let's rewind for a second so I can go back and do that properly. Blah, 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 blah. Watch the fights. Not going to change what I did there. Go back to the store. Excellent look around. I'll buy the potion of mystery. Blah, blah, blah. Buy it. Save it. Alright, let's look at the small vial of dust. You lift the vial of dust from its place on the shelf and turn it over in your hand. It sparkles a little in the light. 3 gold pieces, calls the dwarf, but you cannot tell what it is. Yeah, buy it. Why not? You hand over the 3 gold pieces and take the vial. Then you open the stopper and look inside. It does not contain dust, but sand. The dwarf harumps, leans back, and waits to serve you. I need provisions. You look over the food on sale. It all seems palatable enough. A stack of flatbreads and some hard, squeaky cheese. 3 gold pieces per meal, the dwarf says. It looks as though he has 4 meals worth on his shelf. Yes. 4 times 3 is 12. Yeah, I have just enough. Buy them all. You're running short on funds. Yes, I am. Alright, so we have no gold, but we will continue. We now have rations, so I feel a little bit better. You follow the road up a gentle rise towards a building with a large domed roof. All the various alleys seem to converge on it, and it is thronged with people. From here, it seems that there is no way around. Alright, I guess we'll approach the building. The road becomes narrower as the slum dwellings either side become more built up. Finally, it opens onto a small plaza in the shade of the large domed building. It is some kind of sprawling covered market. Looking left and right, you see several other roads entering the building through different archways. A group of serpent heads are just passing by. Talk to them? You stop one. Greetings, you begin. What is this place? The serpent head looks back at you, unimpressed. It is the artist's quarter. They have to have a roof over them, or their paints run and they complain. Nothing worse than a complaining artist, remarks the second creature. Thank you. Sounds worthless. Some of these choices are awesome. Thank you. You're welcome, replies the first serpent head, who appears to speak quite normally. But I'll give you a tip. Don't pose for any pictures. You'll regret it. With that, the serpent heads march away inside the building. The market seems a confusing place. Various tracks head off into bushes near its walls. You may be able to find a way around it after all. And we will find a way around or through the market in the next episode. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and I will see you next time.